federal government goes ahead with the exploration of oil in Ogoni land. The women said this during the press conference in Port Harcourt yesterday. Leaders of the organization said the federal government must first address what they term key issues in the area before restarting exploration.
They are still on negotiation, which the president needed, and nothing has been done. Resumption cannot start because nothing that will permit the resumption has ever been touched. Again, if you look at the assessments of what is on the ground concerning the cleaning up, as my sisters were saying, about women, you will find the women at the grassroots were not mostly involved. And the women they involved in this thing is friend to friend.
Organization for environmental people are at Abuja talking about our resumption. For what? We the women are saying no. Meet our demands and come.
Then women will protest. Women will protest to the streets, carry our placards.
We even go naked.
We will go naked. We go in our nude. We are that paid.
Now, the spokesperson of the Coalition of Women Organizations, Lazinia Patrick and Barry Label Patricia, explained reasons they are against the resumption of oil exploration in Ogoni land.
In 1958, Ogoni emerged as a focus area within Nigeria's growing oil economy, contributing major resources, revenue to the country's economy. Unfortunately, the benefits from oil resources were not reached Ogoni people, particularly the women in any significant measure. Rather, Ogoni women and its community have for decades borne the impact of the industry's adverse activity.
To this note, we stand as Ogoni women to stand in strong terms to say we are against oil exploration, and we want to agree. We want to tell the world that Ogoni women have said no oil exploration until clean up is properly done. They should clean up our lands. They should restore our livelihood. We are here as a group.
I recall that during a meeting between Ogoni leaders led by Governor Fubara and the presidential villa to lay the foundation for the dialogue and negotiation of oil exploration activities to restart in Ogoni. Moving on. Investigative journalist Godswill Jumbo says residents of the community around the Cawthorne Channel 1 facility off the coast of Bonny, River State, that was burned last week are relocating as the fire incident impacted their livelihood. This comes after 6 bodies were sighted ashore suspected to be victims of the fire outbreak, despite the claim by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, that there were no casualties in the fire incident that occurred 6 days ago. Mr. Jumbo spoke to our correspondent on this.
Relief materials were sent by the NNPC and our partners to the affected community and the settlements around there, but the people rejected them because they were inadequate. Then we are also aware that none of the vessel owners, the vessels that were impacted, some are sunk in the river, the vessels, the barges, upon impact, some exploded and all of that. So sunk in the river, and then others were not sunk, but they were badly damaged. And then they are all there. We are aware that neither the NNPC or any of our partners has reached out to the vessel owners as at today.
Now, Mr. Jumbo, who is the publisher of Christina Reports, also spoke to the regulatory gaps observed during his visit to the site of the fire incident.
There are laws covering every activity around the oil and gas sector, but you find that these laws are not being implemented. For instance, at the location where this fire incident happened, there were no firefighting equipment. So we may understand why the fire incident was on a large scale. And then when you get there, we asked for the health, safety and environment officer. There was none. There is even a permit system. You have to have a permit to work in every, but we didn't see that in Cotton Channel.
In another development, the National Treasurer of Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, Alex Agwonwo, says the federal government's policy restricting tanker drivers from transporting large quantities of petrol on major roads will help curb accidents and reduce casualties on the roads. As you may know, the policy will take effect on the 1st of March. Mr. Agwonwo spoke to correspondent Soibi Uruwari.
Well,
those rules have been there safe for us in the area gas industry. The federal government is not like a new, it may be looking like a new rule on the part of the federal government. In our own parts, those rules have been there before now. That no tanker is permitted to drive beyond 6 p.m. No tanker permitted to drive beyond 6 p.m. Our tanker drivers are aware of it. Issue of the quantity of products to carry. Those rules are all there. It's a policy we have already put in place for tanker drivers, safety operations. So if the government is also coming to capitalize on what we have done to make sure that the total enforcement or compliance to it, then I think it's a welcome development on our own side.
Now, he said that the policy was already an existing regulation established by the union. Now, speaking on the federal government's move to enforce the policy, Mr. Agwamo questioned why relevant security agencies had failed to implement it earlier.
So for us, the interest is to protect the welfare of our members and even those the employers or those who are doing business with. So in as much as to bring protection, also reduce the level of damages or loss of properties. For us, we are very much comfortable with it. It is for the law enforcement agencies to look at the law and also discipline the violators. So if you say whether it's enforceable, are you saying that we don't have law enforcement agencies in this country again? What is their duty? What is their job? And to protect lives and property within that environment. So for us, it's a basic principle for the benefit of our members and for the society at large.
On the planned protest over the increase in telecom tariffs, the New Peng National Treasurer says the NLC National Executive Council will announce the next course of action on Friday.
I said, we're not getting any updates for now. We are meeting on Friday. If the time will meet, we'll review the situation. Well, what I said is that no updates yet until after the meeting on Friday.
Moving on, the Rivers State Local Government Election Tribunal Appeal Court is expected to deliver more judgment today and tomorrow. Correspondent Soibi Oruwari, who visited the tribunal court, reports that judgment is expected on the appeal challenging the victory of the chairman of LML local government area at the lower court. Judgments on the Eche, Ahoda West and Obi Akpor chairmanship cases, as well as those involving councillorship candidates challenging the lower tribunal's ruling, are expected in the coming weeks as their hearings have already started. The tribunal appeal delivered its judgment on Tuesday in the case involving the Falga Council chairman. Well, still to come, IPOB leader Kanu petitions Chief Justice over case. Stay tuned.
Just
My name is Jude Omamigwe. We'd like to thank you for sticking with us. Let's continue with our stories that we're covering for this day. Owo Umunawaji has won the first session of today's edition of Nigeria Info FM's I Beg to Differ debate. He faced off against Chile Sylvanus on the topic, is a cashless society beneficial for all? The debate examined the pros and cons of a fully digital economy and its impact on different segments of society. In the second session, Ms. Tayo Akiwande Marvelous emerged victorious in a debate against Onugbo Alexander. The debaters tackled the question, is it possible to have true equality in society? Some teachers who say they are part of the 1,000 teachers employed by the River State government say they will hold a protest today to demand reasons why they are yet to resume work. As you may know, some individuals raised concerns about receiving employment letters from the River State Universal Education Board but have remained jobless for 2 years. Two of them, Ovunda Chris and Blessing Abiye, spoke on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire.
When we use the word protest in River State, there's this kind of political coloration they give to it. It's a peaceful walk. We want to see the governor, we just walk to the governor. He's our father. We're his children. So we're just, going to see him and telling him about our plight.
That is just the only way that we can have the attention of the government. At least for them to speak to us. Because since then, they have been keeping us on dark. We don't know what is happening. They keep on telling us we should wait. Till how many years?
I think in the mind of the governor, this is a done deal. So we're not going on a violent protest or going to have a face-off with the government. No.
Well, he said one of them claimed she was invited by a board chairman who showed her their names that had been collated. He said that they were threatened that if they continued the protest, the documents containing their names would be destroyed. Responding, the State Commissioner for Information, Joe Johnson, urged the group not to protest, assuring them that measures were in place to address their concerns.
There is no need for protest. We can come back as a family and bond. I'm convinced that the chairman of the board will have the opportunity to even appear on the should exercise a little restraint. There's no need for protest because when you protest, you create more bad blood. That's my appeal. There have been several meetings both with the chairman and Dominic Amucha, who is in charge of the postings of teachers, where starting to become a
Move on. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has approved the construction of an administrative block, male and female hostel at the Nigeria University of Education. Fubara expressed regret.
I can make bold to say this afternoon from what I've seen, the way the school have also managed itself, we will immediately grant the request of the governing board. These requests include male and female, it does include administrative block, includes a new health center, there is a request for a sports complex.
The governor, however, urged students to leave school with a lasting impression.
You're doing a good job, more especially the acting VC. Politics aside, you're doing your job very well. I have to commend you. I want to make an appeal too to the students. You have the opportunity to be here today. Make use of this very rare opportunity. Don't pass through the school. If you're passing through the school alone, you end up not getting anything. Allow the school to pass through you. So when you leave with something from the school. But in all, we assure you that we'll do what we need to do to improve the state of this school.
A correspondent Onyekachi also reports that the governor was conducted around the school by the chairman of the governing council, Adoke Amisimaka, the vice chancellor of the school, Okechukwu Onuchukwu, and the chairman of Ubiakwa local government area, Chijioke Ihunwo, among others. Reports say all the security aides attached to the new speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mojisola Meranda, have been withdrawn. The spokesperson for Miranda, Gonzalo Victor, confirmed this to journalists. Another source in the camp of the former speaker Mujaru Obasa also said all aids attached to Obasa have now been restored. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has petitioned the Chief Justice of Nigeria, asking her to direct the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Shoho, to reassign his case to another judge with proper jurisdiction. In a letter to the CJN, Kanu's legal team, led by Aloy Ejimako and Justice Binta Nyako, who is currently presiding over the case, had already recused herself following Kanu's allegation of bias. Kanu is facing 7 counts of terrorism-related charges brought against him by the federal government. In business, the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS), Adewale Adeniyi, says the proposed Nigeria Revenue Service Bill in the National Assembly threatens the existence of his agency. He made his position known during the public hearing of the House of Representatives Committee on Finance on Wednesday. And to the world of entertainment now, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has arraigned Jude Okoye, the elder brother and former manager of Paul and Peter Okoye of the defunct music group P-Square, on charges of laundering 1.3 billion naira, $1 million and 34,537 pounds and 59p. Jude was arraigned alongside his company Northside Music Limited before Justice Alexander Owoye of the Federal High Court, Lagos, on a 7-count charge. In sport, Erling Braut Haaland has equaled Manchester United legend Ruud van Nistelrooy's Premier League feat after scoring the only goal in Manchester City's 1-0 win at Tottenham Hotspur. And finally, from the international scene, Israel is due to free dozens of Palestinian prisoners, including 24 children from Gaza, whose release was held up before the verification of the 4 captive bodies handed over by Hamas. So far, 456 Palestinians held in Israel jails have arrived in Gaza, 97 have been deported to Egypt, 37 arrived in the West Bank, and 5 more in occupied East Jerusalem. Well, that was the news this afternoon, but before we leave, a quick recap. On the news this afternoon, you heard some Ogoni women have vowed to protest naked over oil exploration. Bodies have been sighted near Cawthorne Channel fire site. Expert Alex Agwangwo has reacted to the ban on transporting large quantities of petrol. IPOB leader Kanu has petitioned the CJN to direct the Federal High Court justice to reassign his case. And on the foreign scene, Israel is due to free dozens of Palestinian prisoners, including 24 children from Gaza. The news was edited by Onyekachi Wosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0808-721-7215. 0808-721-7215. My name is Jude Omamegbe. Thank you for listening and good afternoon.